So this look's going to be all about glamour, modern day glamour. It's quite a simple style to do, but it looks so effective and it's such a wow hairstyle and totally nice for a bridal hairstyle as well. So with the prep, it's quite an easy prep. I've taken a section in a V, starting from the middle of the temple each side, so just the middle of the eye, and you're taking it all the way back into a V section. You're leaving about 2 inches at the bottom. I've then curled on base, spraying with my setting spray each piece before I curl it, and then pinning it on base. See those there? And then with the rest of the hair, I want to create a really super sleek ponytail. So if your client has unruly hair, maybe give it a directional blow dry first. Even use straighteners on it to smooth it. I really like this at the moment. Brazilian blowout gives it a super smooth, sleek hold. Tie it off at the bottom. I've used a Patrick Cameron bungee for this, and I've then put the hair into 3 sections and curled 3 pieces of the hair, again using the setting spray. Another great trick while we are styling is the business card trick. So placing your card on the hair. This helps keep the hair from being disturbed while we're styling. So do that both sides. I mean, a great trick is to use your own business cards. It's quite fun to do at a trial or a wedding. People find it quite funny that you're putting your business card into the hair. And they get to see your business cards too. So as you can see, that's going to just hold it in nicely. We're then going to add some padding. We're going to place the padding across the top of the pony and securing it either side of the hair so it's secure. So you're going to secure that with your curvy grips. Now for this hairstyle, if your client hasn't got enough hair, add some hair extensions. Clipping hair extensions work beautifully with this. If you want a really elaborate big hairstyle down here, then totally add hair extensions. Make it your own hairstyle. We're going to take a section of the pony and we're going to tease it. Just give it a little tease so it's got a bit of structure to it. Like so. And then we're going to wrap it around the padding. We're going to wrap it around the padding. Now, what we're wanting to do, we want to cover this whole padding with this hair. So again, if you don't feel you've got enough hair, add a little clipping bit underneath here. It still wouldn't be too late to do that if you realised that as you were styling it. So repeat with the second piece of hair. Positioning the hair into a nice angle. Now, this chignon is actually going to be mostly covered up, so don't worry too much if you're feeling it's still a bit gappy, because all this hair is going to be sitting on this. This is to sort of get the baseline right, get the shape right. So you can see that's covering quite nicely. Then I've got the final piece. When you're happy with where your hair's positioned, pin it all into place. So check out your shape, make sure you're happy with it. Okay, so that's step 1. Not too tricky. So what we're now going to do, so we're now going to brush out the curl. And what we're aiming to do each section that we take out is going to alternate. So you're going to bring it over to one side first. Doesn't really matter what side, up to you. And just have a play with it. Fanning it out, putting it into position. And just use your tail pin for now to position it. Moving on to the second section, we repeat, but we go the other side. Now we want to create a full shape, almost like a Mohican. So we don't want it to be too flat. So if necessary, you want to backcomb the root to get some height. Another good tip is to use some mini crimpers and just go inside the structure. You don't want it to be on the very outside because you might see that. But if you can do the inner structure of these curls as you go, that's a really good tip as well. Again, you've got your texture spray and your texture powder, always really good. So use your judgment on how to achieve that structure. And take your time with this. I always say it's a little bit like hair art. You're creating a piece of art here. And every time you do this hairstyle, it will look slightly different. But always look amazing. So when I've done my first two sections, I like to pin it properly, because otherwise you're going to start getting in a muddle with all the long pins going on. So once you're happy with your positioning, just pin that hair into place. So you'll see the style is already taking shape. Already looks pretty, doesn't it? As you're going, keep looking at the shape, at the structure. Is it still symmetrical? A good top tip actually, when you're doing your sectioning at the beginning, if you're not sure about is it totally symmetrical, because sometimes my eye can be a little bit off, get a tape measure and just measure from ear to the parting and just see if it's the same both sides. Because nothing worse when you finish the hairstyle, you can kind of see, oh, I should have been just, you know, just 3 centimetres out can make the style look off. So do check that. It's worth, I always carry a tape measure in my kit to measure. Even when I'm doing an updo, if you're putting a pony here to start the updo, measure from your forehead to the pony and write that down in your notes, because if you're a little bit off at the wedding, it might look different to what you did at the trial. So that's quite important as well. So yeah, it's a good thing to have in your kit. This is my third section, so I'm going to be going over to the other side. I mean, if you're good with your clip-in extensions and you have pieces that are about 4 inches in width, then you could even put them on each section of the roller to give it even more hair and lustre. So I'm going to backcomb the root a little. With the spray. You find as you're getting nearer the top, this is more important with the root lift. Now when you position your hair, don't don't pull it. Let it almost just let it drop. Let it drop, and then with the end of your comb or your brush, play about with it. Start thinking about the shape. All this, you know, the sides, it's all got to form a lovely shape. Always think 5 minutes ahead. Think about your positioning and the height. I mean, it's good to have a mirror in front of you to work with as well, so you can see what you're doing. I always take a mirror with me to my weddings. A lot of venues actually don't have one. So you're working the shape down to sit over to the bun. Each section of the hair, if you need to, use a bit of curling cream, smoothing cream, to give the hair a nice polished look. So if your client has super soft hair, do add a bit of texture spray as well. I'm going to back comb that root. Spray. And position. So start thinking as well how the hair is going to sit on the smooth pony so it transgresses nicely. So it looks nice from all angles. We're then left with our final 2 sections. These are important because the bride can see the front of her hair, so it's important to get the shape at the front right as well, of what she can see, as well as our angles looking how they should be. So again, you're going to think 5 minutes ahead. Chat to the bride, ask her if you can see her face. You can see if her face is looking at it and thinking, oh my goodness, what's she doing? So chat to the bride about what you're doing. Is she happy with it? But be assertive as well. If you know that what you're doing looks correct, she might say it's too high, but you've got to then say, well, this shape has to stay consistent all the way. You have to tell her that it looks good from all angles. It's got to look good from all angles. It's not just the bit that she can see. And just be gently persuasive if you know you're right with what you're doing. So again, don't forget you really want some nice height here. You don't want it being pulled back. This is where the root powder can be very, very good, because it will give you that nice strong structure if you wanted to add that. I'm simply not adding that because I've got my block, and if I keep putting all that product into her hair, it's really, really hard to keep creating more hairstyles for you. So these 2 final bits are going to be the bits on show at the bottom as well. So make sure you're getting your shape nicely positioned. You can see that's all sitting really nicely. So the final piece is important, of course. This is the piece on show. has to be positioned right for the bride to like it. So again, I'm going to back comb 1, 2, 3. And give that really lovely vintage shape to it. You can just see this on a red carpet, can't you? I have recreated this style before for a live tutorial, and it got such a good response. Everybody loved styling it. They couldn't believe how beautiful it looked, but how easy it was to do as well. So obviously you're positioning the front according to the bride's face shape, what she prefers. You could try and get it going straight back, or it is working nicely going out to the side. You could even drop it down, bringing it softer at the side, more softer at the front. That could also work really well. So have a play about with that with your client and see what she prefers. But I'm going to keep it high today. Using a tail comb to position. And try not to disturb the hair too much. Let it sit where it wants to sit, and just manipulate it. And being careful not to show your pins. Nothing looks worse than seeing pins on a hairstyle. I think they should all be strategically placed so you can't see them. Again, if you're thinking 5 minutes ahead when you're going through the individual curls, you'll kind of know that a lot of these curls will cover up the hair here, so you can get away with pins showing, knowing that they're going to be covered up. Okay, so you can see that beautiful shape. Spend time going around the shape, pinning things into place, manipulating it a little, maybe pulling it out if it needs to be, and then give it a really good spray. You can then remove your cards. And then we have the fun bit. You can either keep the style as it is or add a really beautiful accessory. So I like to add an accessory. Let me go and get a really nice accessory to add. So I'm going to use a really nice little piece I've got, a little gold piece. I think it's quite glam. It just finishes off the style. So don't forget as well, take a really good photograph. Think about the background, the lighting. I mean, I've got natural light here. That photograph is what your bride is going to look at before they even contact you. So make your work look good, make the angle right. I can take about 30 photographs of this and only use one. I also like to do a little video going around it as well. That also looks really good. Have a play with that, and I shall see you next time.